All right, MFFLs, we got a loaded rumor show coming up here in just a moment, but got to be honest, last 28 days, getting a little embarrassed by the Lakers report, one of our other NBA YouTube channels here at Chat Sports. They've picked up 618 new subscribers, just 305 here at Mavericks today, so we got to close that gap here now that we're into the month of August. Let's beat the Lakers report in new subs this month. If you want more Mavericks videos, you got to subscribe because the channels that get more subscribers, they get more videos here at this company, so that's just how it works. So if you want to stay in the loop with the latest on your Dallas Mavericks, hit that big red button right now. Today's episode of Mavericks Today is sponsored by Mint Mobile. Lower your cell phone wireless provider plan to $15 per month because you can get plans with Mint Mobile starting at that price. MintMobile.com/chatsports/ some prices today off of your bills. And yes, you can keep your same phone and phone number. More information later. Link in the comments and in the description. All right, let's talk about Jae Crowder. We have not talked about Jae Crowder on this show since the Western Conference semifinals, I believe, when the Mavs faced the Suns in the playoffs and, of course, won that series in 7 games. Could Dallas bring Crowder back to Dallas? Could that happen? Could the Mavs bring him back here? Well, Smokin' Cuban kind of explored this, and really it stemmed from this tweet that Crowder tweeted out a few days ago. Change is inevitable, he says. Growth is optional. I believe it's time for a change. I want to continue growing. Now, maybe that means something. Maybe it doesn't. But could he be hinting that he wants out, that he wants a fresh start, he wants to leave Phoenix? I don't know. I think professional athletes tweet cryptic stuff out all the time, sometimes to mess with fan bases, sometimes because they're actually feeling something. Who knows? I mean, I don't know what's going on in Jae Crowder's mind. I haven't talked to him, but I do know this, that he is a player that would fit in really well here with where this team is right now. I do want to look at his career here because obviously the Mavs drafted him and then sent him to Boston in the brutal Rajon Rondo trade. We don't talk about it much anymore on this show, but you kind of look at how it started versus kind of where he's gotten to. He was just starting to develop, I think, especially in that third year or when he got traded. You look at the numbers, some of his better numbers in year 3 with Dallas before kind of becoming this established veteran presence over the last however many seasons now, 7-8 seasons, over 11 points, grabbing 5 boards. He's been a reliable three-point shooter over 35% and really closer to 37-38% for a lot of those years. He's a reliable vet, 3-and-D guy. I mean, these are the type of players that championship caliber teams have year in and year out. And the Mavs got a couple of them. Dorian Finney-Smith and Reggie Bullock, he would fit in right in with those two guys. Like, he would be that type of player in presence, maybe not as big of an impact, but a 3-and-D wing that can guard multiple positions, catch and shoot, put the ball on the deck occasionally, and play his role. That's what he does. I think a couple of years ago, he kind of had a down year last year, but 2 years ago when Phoenix made the finals, he played a huge role on that team, and I think he could play a role like that with the Mavericks as well. So this is the trade idea I cooked up. Jae Crowder and a second to Dallas for Dwight Powell and a first. That feels kind of fair to me. Obviously, Jae Crowder is a better player than Dwight Powell, but both players' contracts are expiring, each on a 1-year deal. And by the way, shout out Dwight Powell, the last player remaining from that Rondo trade. Second to Dallas, first to Phoenix. Obviously, Crowder's the better player, but if Phoenix gets a first out of it, that's a pretty good deal. You get a second back this year if you're Dallas, just to kind of give you a little bit of capital on that end as well. I think that could be a trade that works out for both sides. Who wins this trade? And by the way, with Powell, they lost JaVale McGee to the Mavs, obviously. They could be looking for a backup big to DeAndre Ayton, so they would get that as well. Who wins the trade? Type M for the Mavs, type S for the Suns. Hell, type B for both if you think both teams win this trade. We keep our trade rumors theme going here. Tim Hardaway Jr., did the Mavs shop him this offseason? Well, report out there that Dallas shopped him during the trade deadline, and that picked up again this summer. I think we knew about the trade deadline buzz. There had been reports about that. Not a lot this summer, though, but a recent report from Jake Fischer, which we'll get into in a sec, suggests just that. Obviously, he had the foot injury that cost him the second half of the season and the playoffs, and with 3 years left on his deal, that has probably hurt his value. And I think because of that, he's likely going to stay in Dallas at this point, at least to start this season. Now, here's more from Jake Fischer. He had this to say. Dallas people have both said we are excited about Tim Hardaway Jr. in theory being our big offseason addition coming back from injury. He's going to be back. They also explored the trade market for him at the deadline and again this summer, so he's definitely a name they've brought up to other teams. He hasn't played in a year, and he's still got a lot of money left on that deal, and there is a general sense around the NBA that 15-plus average annual value salaries for shooters have kind of become negative contracts, which I actually find that part pretty interesting. So I think in conclusion, I expect THJ to be here this year, or I should really say at the start of this year at least. We'll see beyond that, because I could see a trade later on. Trade deadline deal, trade next summer. Say he bounces back, plays really well this year. He could be a guy you shop next offseason with one less year left on that deal and coming off a strong season, because last year he wasn't bad by any means when he played, but obviously the shooting splits are down. I mean, 40% from the field, under 34% from three. Not just abysmal, but probably the worst shooting split season he's had since 2019 or so. He definitely had a down year shooting the ball before the injury. So hopefully Dallas gets a more efficient Hardaway, to which you see on the left side of your screen in 2020, 2021. That was probably the best year of his career just in terms of efficiency, 45% from the floor and over 39% from three-point range. So what do you think? What should the Mavs do with Tim Hardaway, at least right now? Type T for trade, type K for keep. Get your votes in down in the comments section. While that might be up for debate, switching to Mint Mobile is a no-brainer because they have unlimited premium wireless plans starting at just $15 per month. Prices are crazy right now, but you can lower at least one bill, your cell phone bill, with Mint Mobile. And the best part about it is you can keep your same phone and phone number. That's what I did. They'll send you an eSIM card. Takes you about 15 minutes to convert from your current provider to Mint Mobile. You're good to go. Boom, you're on the nation's highest 5G LTE network, and depending on where you are in the country, it'll switch seamlessly between 5G and 4G. No big deal. Whatever the better data services in that area, you will be on the strongest one. MintMobile.com/chatsports. Go check them out. $15 per month plan starting as low as that price threshold. Save some money today. It's a great opportunity with Mint Mobile. Okay, Colin Sexton, is the pursuit dead? Is this opportunity not out there at this time? There's a report saying that basically the Cavs just aren't interested in the pieces that Dallas could offer in a potential sign and trade. Here's Chris Fedor of Cleveland.com. In terms of Dallas specifically, I've checked in on that, and I'm told the Cavs have no interest in any of the pieces that Dallas would try to flip them in a potential sign and trade. Spencer Dinwiddie has $20 million next year that he would have to make, so that would be the Cavs taking on more salary beyond 2023. And then the same thing goes for Tim Hardaway Jr. and some of the other guys. And I do get what he's saying, because basically they've offered Sexton $13 million and change per year on a 3-year deal, and if they took on Tim Hardaway, that's $16 to $18 million per year. If they took on Spencer Dinwiddie, that's 20-ish million per year. They may not want to do that. So I think if Dallas is going to pry Sexton away, at least right now, third team would likely have to get involved as a facilitator. Not sure who that could be. Maybe Oklahoma City, who's always looking to stockpile draft picks. Maybe a team like the Houston Rockets. But right now, a straight-up sign and trade between Dallas and Cleveland seems unlikely, which it's unfortunate, honestly, because I've said it for about a month now. I think Colin Sexton is the ideal Jalen Brunson replacement. They're similar in a lot of ways. Sexton, throughout his career, at least before last year, is actually a better pure scorer. 20 points per game. His last full season averaged 24, whereas Brunson averaged just 16 last year. I mean, if you got 18 to 20 out of Sexton, you'd be getting at least the same caliber player, if not maybe a tick of a better one if he can get back to that level off the injury. He'd fit in really well. That's the disappointing part of this. I've said it for a few weeks now. Yes, losing Brunson hurts, but with the additions of Christian Wood and JaVale McGee, if you got Colin Sexton as well, that's a win in the offseason. Like, you've gotten better overall, even though you've lost Jalen Brunson. But if you don't get a quality guard when you need one, you need another ball handler, there's question marks in your backcourt heading into this season. So we'll continue to monitor Sexton's status. He's still unsigned as a restricted free agent. I think there's a real chance he signs his qualifying offer, becomes unrestricted next year, so maybe he's a target next offseason. We'll just have to wait and see at this point in time. The Mavs have a blank percentage chance of landing Colin Sexton. Fill in the blank. 10%, 20, 50. I'd put 15%. I wouldn't completely rule it out, but it's certainly not a great chance, at least right now as we sit today. All right, let's talk about the biggest offseason acquisition, and that is Christian Wood. We haven't talked about him much recently. He's thinking big. He's got big thoughts and hopes for the Mavericks this upcoming year. He surprised the Mavs Academy Hoop Camp. Surprised some campers showed up and spoke to them and hung out, so that was a cool opportunity for those kids. Also did an interview and had this to say, look, I'm happy to be here. It's a great opportunity for me. For this organization, just trying to take that next step. I want to win games. My main objective is trying to get to the finals, because he's kind of viewed publicly as, yeah, he's this vastly improved player the last few years, but is he just a good stats, bad team guy, or can he be a real good player on a good and winning team? Because obviously Dallas is a team that expects to win right now. They're trying to build on what they did last season when they made that surprise run to the conference finals. Obviously Christian Wood coming off 2 great years with the Houston Rockets, where he shot over 50% from the field and over 37% from 3 in both years, grabbed a bunch of rebounds and scored a bunch of points. He should fit in great with Luka. Stylistically, I think he fits in really well. Pick and pop game and occasional role. He can also create his own shot, which is going to be needed, especially since after Luka and Dinwiddie, you don't have really a third guard that you can trust as a self-creator at this point in time. You're hoping Jaden Hardy gets there at some point, but I do think Christian Wood is going to be relied upon to create some instant offense. So hopefully he's able to do that. And hey, I like that he's thinking about making a run, because he hasn't won much in the NBA. Now he's got a chance to do that with the Dallas Mavericks. All right, that's it for today's show. Real One roll call. If you got to the end of the video, comment MFFL down below. The real ones know, and real ones are MFFL. So get the MFFLs going down in the comment section. I am Harrison Graham, also a real one and an MFFL. We'll see you soon here on Mavericks Today.